Good morning, everyone. 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning. How you doing? I'm Jane Monreal, and you are watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. We have a garden variety of news items we're going to get to this morning, but want to start you out with an update now to a story we've been following since the weekend. The Catawba County Sheriff's Office making two more suspects arrested in the mass shooting at a house party over the weekend that left one person dead, 11 others hurt. Now, deputies telling us Raekwon Craig, you see there on your screen, as well as Patrick Tolbert, are now in custody. They're charged with aiding and abetting. Meanwhile, the sheriff's office also telling us Keandre Mack and Tolan Huff are still wanted this morning. Of course, this all unfolded late Saturday night, or into Sunday morning, I should say, where about 100 people reported at a house in the Hickory area were at a party, and there were shots fired. 80 or so rounds of gunfire shot over the weekend, again killing one person and 11 people hurt. One suspect made his first court appearance yesterday, Garen Killian, 20-year-old Garen Killian out of Lenore, who was also charged with one count of attempted first-degree murder. And he was also arrested back in April on shooting charges as well. So that is the update we have for you now. Want to get you caught up with a live breaking scene here in Philadelphia. This is a bus depot, we call it the bus graveyard, out of Philadelphia, where you can see whatever's left of some buses charred pretty much in the middle of that bus depot. Several SEPTA buses officials are calling this a bus graveyard now, sending very thick smoke into the air. But you can see this is what is left, with a number of fire trucks just spraying water overhead and getting the last of the hot spots. But quite a scene for folks out there in Philadelphia. Right now, we do want to take you out to Asheville, because this is what is happening as you... This is what's happening right now. There is a meeting that's being held, NCDOT holding a meeting there. Let's go ahead and listen in. All right, there looks like they're still gathering, but we are waiting for folks to join the Zoom here, and they've got quite an agenda this morning for folks in Western North Carolina. We do know that I-40 is going to take a number of years to get that rebuilt completely between Tennessee and the North Carolina state line. But this is a meeting. They will call things to order here. Started at 9 o'clock, and it looks like they're still just doing the final housekeeping there. But they do have a number of action items on the agenda, including abandonments and road name changes to a lot of the road systems. So this is going to be an all-day event. We will probably dip in and out of this throughout the morning, but something to keep in mind as summer travel season is getting underway, with folks planning their summer trips and making plans to do those road trips. We know that Asheville is also in the business of getting things in order. So it looks like they are about to call this to order. Let's go ahead and listen in live. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
Great meeting. This has been one of the best trips we've ever had. Fantastic. I'd like to first call the roll. This is the June 5th, 2025 meeting. Welcome everybody to Asheville officially for this meeting. I'm going to just go around. I'm, of course, here. Vice Chairman Mathis.
Here.
Tess Judge.
Here.
David Womack.
Here.
Landon is not here. Melvin is on Teams. Leave.
Here, Mr. Chair.
I see Melvin and I hear him.
This is Leo, and I'm on
I
the
believe,
phone.
is also on Teams.
Yes,
You have
sir.
Leo, Evan? All right. He's on his way then. Valerie Jordan.
Here, Mr. Chair.
Ralph Huff. Here. Michael Fox. Here. Pat Malamphy. Here. Stephen Rosenberg, I know, is here and will be here momentarily, so I'm going to put a little asterisk by him. Megan Phillips.
Here.
Brad Lael could not be here. Senator Harrington, is she on Teams, Evan?
I am.
Yes, I
I'm
heard
on
Senator
Teams.
Harrington.
Yep, thank you.
Billy Clark.
Here, Mr. Chairman.
Dirk Cody.
I'm here.
Graham Bennett.
Here.
Chuck McGrady.
Here.
I'm going to declare that we have a quorum. I don't think I've missed anybody.
Mr. Rosenberg is here.
I saw Mr. Rosenberg walk in. I'll note that for the record. We can start now. I'm going to declare that we have a quorum and call the meeting to order. And if y'all will bear with me, I'm going to read the non-conflict ethics statement. In accordance with the State Government Ethics Act, Executive Order Number 2, issued on January 12, 2009, and NCGS 143B350, it's the duty of every board member to avoid both conflicts of interest and appearances of conflict. To comply with this statement in the state ethics law, ask whether any board member has a known conflict of interest or appearance of conflict with respect to any matters coming before the board today. If so, please identify the conflict or appearance of conflict when the item appears on the agenda for consideration.
All right, we're going to steal some time away from the NCDOT meeting that is just getting started. I mentioned just moments ago, people are traveling this summer, or at least making plans to travel, and summer travel season, of course, is here. So many of us dreaming of international adventures, myself included. But before you pack your bags and get to that overseas getaway, we want to consider some important safety and health tips to consider. Joining us now from CVS Pharmacy is Dr. Amy Lynn Safety. She's the pharmacy district leader for CVS to share some of these essential tips you need to know while traveling abroad this morning. Dr. Safety, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. So what are you seeing as far as people preparing for some international trips specifically is what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, so when you're first starting to plan for your international trip, I know the first thing you think about is booking your flight, reserving your hotels, but you do have to think about your health as well. So it's a great idea to make sure that you make an appointment with your healthcare provider at least 4 to 6 weeks before your departure date to check in and see if there's any vaccines that you might need before traveling, and also to make sure you have enough of your prescription medications on hand.
Very good. So what is the best way to find out what's required then or recommended for that destination?
Yeah, so if you're traveling somewhere internationally, the best place to check is the CDC website. So you can search by your destination and it tells you exactly which vaccines are recommended or required for travel. So once you have that information, you can make an appointment at your local CVS in order to receive the vaccines. And it's always a good idea to make sure you bring a printed copy of that vaccine record with you, just so you don't have any issues when you get to your destination.
You mentioned prescription medicine, bring enough for your vacation. What other advice do you have for managing prescriptions during an international trip?
Yeah, so when it comes to prescription medications, it's always a good idea not only to have enough for your trip, but a couple extra days just in case you have any travel delays. And I always recommend to bring those medications in the original bottles, because that does have all your information on there, the dosage information, and it just makes it a lot easier when traveling. So with those prescription medications, you also want to keep them on your person. I know they might take up some space in your carry-on if you are on a lot of medications, but it's always safest to keep them with you and not check them in your luggage just in case a bag does get lost.
Yeah, absolutely. We also think about food and water safety while overseas, and that sometimes is a concern. What's your guidance on that?
So when it comes to food and water, it's always a good idea to do a little bit of research before you do travel. But in order to be safe, the best bet is always to drink bottled water and make sure the food that you are eating is cooked to a warm temperature, that you're not eating anything raw or undercooked, just in order to be safe. And if you are, maybe eating things that are safe, but you might get a little bit of an upset stomach while you're traveling, you're trying different things, it's always a good idea to travel with some over-the-counter medications as well. So things like to settle the sour stomach, like antacids, antidiarrheal medications, and also things for bloating and gas.
Yeah, I'm always a sucker for good street food too. I've got to admit. We think about the water, the food. How about let's talk about jet lag, time zone change. Any pharmacy-related considerations we could go away with?
Jet lag is very hard. I haven't found the trick myself to not suffering from it, but there are some things that you can do in order to get yourself on a new rhythm. And as far as natural things, getting yourself as soon as you land to stay awake until the bedtime in that country, it does kind of help to reset your clock a little bit. But if you are looking to bring something to maybe help you fall asleep, we do offer things such as CVS branded sleep aids or melatonin to help kind of get you back on a normal rhythm when you are overseas.
And if we talk about travel insurance or perhaps in a medical emergency, from a pharmacy perspective, what would you want people to know about maybe getting some medications internationally?
Yeah, so every country is different. So if you are in a situation where you do need to seek medical attention, it is a really good idea to kind of pay attention. Like, even if you don't need medical attention, just pay attention to your surroundings and see where is the closest hospital, where is the closest pharmacy. If you do have that international coverage and you do end up seeing a provider, whether it be a concierge doctor or a type of walk-in clinic, they usually be the best ones to guide you in order to helping to provide those medications. There are medications that are, for example, if you have an infection or you get sick while you're abroad, there's certain things that are over the counter in different countries that don't require a prescription. So it does make access a little bit easier when it comes to trying to find something in a foreign country.
All right, very good. As we wrap things up here, Dr. Safady, what would you say is one piece of advice if people are planning or wanting to go on an international trip?
I would say the thing that we often forget about is make sure your passport is not expired. It's happened many times with friends and family who are traveling, everything is all set, and then we end up seeing like, oh no, the passport expires in a month. So I would say if you're planning that big trip, you're gonna go overseas, check in on your passport. And if you do need an updated passport photo or need to renew it, you can get that taken care of at your local CVS pharmacy. The photo team is there to help.
All right. Who knew? You got everything we need to get us prepared. Dr. Safady from CVS, thank you very much for some good advice as folks plan their summer travels. Great way to kick things off here. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, we are coming up at 9:15 right now in the Live Impact studio on WCNC Plus. Going to take you back out to Asheville where the meeting for NCDOT is underway. We've got two windows, it looks like, one being called to order, another just the wider angle of the room. So let's see if we can listen in here.
This month's innovative technologies and product awareness handouts is available on the website for everybody's review. And I want to thank our staff in the materials and test unit for putting that information together for us every month. It's always great to see that. Our next item is our legislative update. And at this time, I'd like to invite Lee Jackson to come forward and give us all the news. No, legislative news.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everybody. So I've had kind of a similar update to last month. Session is still in full force. We are watching the budget, which has come out. I talked last month about what was included in the Senate and House budgets related to the Helene response. And so I won't go into the major details, but essentially the Senate earmarked kind of where our money would come from within the department, and the House would allow us to cash flow as needed. So we'll see what comes out in conference. I would imagine it will probably land somewhere in between as they work through the budget process. And then we're also watching the second 2025 disaster recovery bill, which is House 1012. We had $10 million that was appropriated in that bill for Western North Carolina rail recovery. And so that is still sitting in committee, and we'll see where that lands. I'm happy to take any questions. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lee. Appreciate that, and we appreciate your constant presence on Jones Street. Thank you for watching out for us. Next, we have the Division of Motor Vehicles update, and we are thrilled to have our new DMV Commissioner, Paul Tyne, with us. And thank you for coming up and for spending some extra time. We were able to have you at dinner with us tonight, and I know a lot of us had great conversations with you at the dinner, so we appreciate your engagement with our board. Welcome, Paul. Thanks.
Morning.
Morning.
All right. Everybody's getting up for DMV. I like that. Appreciate it very much. So the secretary did ask me to come by and give an update on my first 30 days, which is coming up tomorrow. And we've had a lot of movement already. And so we're taking a new approach, and that's really to create a positive customer-focused culture at DMV. And in order to get us there, I've had to start with an assessment. I've visited 14 offices so far. I've triaged at the front lines, making sure people have the right paperwork. I'm not very good at it, but I'm getting better and better. I've also gone on a road test, had a fine young man who allowed me to go with him, 16 years old. I said, you mind if I ride along? He said, you're the commissioner, aren't you? I said, yes, I am. He goes, yeah, I got it. And we jumped into a Dodge Ram pickup, did the 3-point turn fine, came in, backed it in on his way in. I told him he was just showing off at that point. But I've been able to experience a lot of different things and talk to our front line and talk to our customers. And, I've been able to locate some quick wins that signal that we both understand.
I want to get you caught up right now with some breaking news. Duke Energy reporting about 4,000 customers in the South Charlotte area are without power at this time. You can see here on Duke Energy's website, the map there, spanning a lot of South Charlotte, some South Park area, some Providence Road. So we're going to keep a track on this, keep you updated right now. But as of now, we can see that 4,000 customers are without power. Let's bring in meteorologist Chris Mulcahy in right now, talking about this weather. It is wet out there, Chris.
Yeah, it's beautiful as well. I actually want to waste no time. Let's go right to Weather 2 to show how gorgeous Lylesville is right now. This is probably one of the best views that I've ever seen. Oh, that's nice.
Is that lovely?
Do you see that blurry mass of trees? It's very scenic, right? I knew that you'd be. And then here's Dallas. Notice the difference? Yeah, there is that. Because literally these are our tallest cameras. They go about 1,000 to 1,500 feet up, and that shows how low this deck of clouds is. So a low-level stratus cloud that's producing rain is known as a nimbostratus cloud. So we have our head in the nimbostratus, and here's what's happening. For our surface map, it's actively pushing its way further off towards the north and east. It's usually north and northwest of a typical low that we have some of the heaviest precipitation that is in this nature. In a tropical system, it's a little bit different. And there was that 10% chance that this could have turned into something. No, that didn't happen. This is just a typical coastal low giving us widespread chances for rain. And we're looking at a lot of heavy rain here. And I want to show you something. So if you look really closely, the rain has been now pushing its way off towards the north, and now it's kind of heading in this general direction off towards the north and west. What's going to happen here is you're going to have an eventual bend in this activity. So it's going to start to push its way to the north and then work its way back again to the east. And it's at that point that we're still going to have heavy showers passing by the same area, really between I-40 and I-85 during that short-term time frame. That's going to lead to a decent amount of rain. So far, Charlotte, this is your hour-by-hour rainfall. 5 a.m., many of us are likely sleeping at that point. Well, that's when it poured the most. We had about a 1/4 inch of rain. Now, how I want to compare that is the reason why we saw a 1/4 inch of rain during that time is we had a lot of the yellow on the radar. Yellow usually means up to about a 1/4 inch per hour. The orange can be anywhere from a 1/2 inch to about an inch in a given time frame. But we've really lightened up the rain substantially since then. Here, I'll go back to what we have on our radar, and we're starting to work in some of the drier air. Sorry, my computer's not letting me zoom in as much as it usually does. But what's going to happen going forward is this rain eventually is going to break up once some dry air starts to work in. So check it out. You have a decent rain coverage, I would say, now until about noon. But then watch what happens by 2. We see less of those yellows and those reds. It actually starts to turn a little bit of green. That's that dry air, baby, working in behind it. And then eventually between about 2 and 4, we have a much drier forecast. You can see 3, 5 o'clock. And one of my favorite sayings, my grandma said this, my dad said this, sunshine always follows rain. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So we're not being metaphorical today. We're actually being real. Sunshine literally following that rain. However, the further east that you live, likely it's going to be more of a cloudy day. Maybe you see some breaks right when the sun is setting, but it's really Charlotte that'll be waiting on that sunshine chance by the evening. And who thought it was pretty humid this morning, or especially yesterday? Yeah,
very much.
And who loved it?
Not love.
Okay. Tolerated.
Tolerated, yes.
Well, if it makes you feel better, it's only going to get worse. Wait, that didn't work out. We'd have red bars, meaning that it's actually going to be more humid, where I'm pinning Friday and I think especially Saturday to be our highest dew points. So that means our highest level of moisture that we've had so far this year. And as far as how much rain we're going to see for today, some areas could still see up to an inch. But what's really going to happen is once that sun starts to come out or we break the clouds, that's where you're really going to notice how humid it is today once all that rain is starting to evaporate. So yeah, we might have a drier end of the day. It's just not going to feel that great extra sticky. But we're not done. We have more increased rain chances through your Saturday and your Tuesday. So before we go any further for the extended forecast, are there any questions, concerns, complaints?
Making weekend plans outdoors. Best time is to blank.
Is to blank.
Is to what? Take care of things outside. At what time?
Is to enjoy yourself. Sorry, I messed that up.
I should say best time to enjoy yourself. Best time to blank? Question mark?
No, yeah, I knew what you were throwing down. I'm just joking.
My goodness, Chris.
So Saturday morning, I think, is the best. Saturday is still a huge question mark, and by the time we're talking here tomorrow, it's going to be a little bit more clear. But our futurecast for Friday, just letting you know, we have a chance for showers and storms to bubble up as early as 1 to 3. And they start to wind down during the evening. The reason why I'm showing you this is since it's so hot and humid, we're now getting into the pattern that these storms can pop up on their own by the end of the day. How many times does it say, hey, it's hot and humid with a 20% chance for rain? That's your Friday. But Saturday is really a big question mark because here is our futurecast. This is going to bring you all the way to 3 o'clock. By 3, we have a chance that the same thing happens. A pop-up shower or a thunderstorm could develop with a better chance for storms through the overnight. So to answer Jane's question, the best place time in blank is, I would say, before 2 o'clock on Saturday. And that's still pretty far out. And Saturday, especially compared to Sunday. Sunday, I think, is very similar. Pop-up showers and storms that can greet you. We're used to that. We're used to just go inside, eat a sandwich, and it'll likely be done type of scenario. Okay. But what's really interesting about Saturday is already by the Storm Prediction Center, we're under a medium threat for severe storms. Now, oftentimes when we have this level, we're going to say, hey, it's a weather alert day. There's one major reason why I have not pulled the trigger on that is because I just showed you the futurecast. You barely saw anything. So until I really see some things line up, because oftentimes, picture I have a bottle of soda. I'm shaking it. I'm shaking it. I'm shaking it.
Dangerous.
All of that soda and that carbon dioxide that's in there, that's going to stay in there until the cap is released. Same thing happens in the atmosphere. That you have a cap essentially when it's so hot and humid that all that energy can explode the atmosphere into the cooler air to form a thunderstorm. So we have a really strong cap in place on Saturday. So there's a good chance that we see nothing. So that's why I don't want to immediately say just because you see the shading for the Storm Prediction Center that it is indeed a weather alert day. But I will say, for Jane's question, before 2 o'clock is your best bet to not worry about anything. This is June, y'all. This is what June does.
Hello, June.
Hi, June.
What's up?
How you doing? So June 90, that Friday, Saturday timeframe would be our hottest days of 2025. And then we have another round of rain possible on Tuesday. That'll bring temperatures down to 80. But typically in June, you have temperatures fluctuating from 80 to 90 degrees, feeling humid each and every day, with most days of at least an isolated storm chance. So welcome to the month. May was great.
Was May great? Yeah, it was. It was nice and long. All right, Chris Mulcahy in the Live Impact studio letting us know what to know this weekend. And this rain, we're just going to deal with it today.
Just going to deal.
Just deal.
That's how we do.
That is what we do. Want to get you updated right now with the power outage in South Charlotte. An update now that these power outages for about 4,000 customers are related to vegetation, let's call it. Tree limbs down. Duke says that they are dispatching crews currently, and so they hope to restore your power by midday, maybe 11:45 for one area. You can see these two kind of areas that are really affected, and then 12:15 for the other areas. So around that lunch hour is when we hope to see power restored to the 4,000 customers from Duke Energy. So just to get you updated there, we think, yeah, please.
I think that's really interesting that those power outages for down limbs, because the winds weren't really a big issue.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Yeah, but sometimes this can happen, is that when you get enough rain, especially if it is a dead limb, that there could be little cracks and grooves. So that means it actually holds a lot more water, because water can get into the cracks. You don't really have the bark that's as effective to really protect that. So I think that's kind of what happened here, that sometimes just rain on its own can make those limbs a little bit heavier. So likely the ones that broke, probably ones that are ready to go anyways. And that's always a good reminder this time of year to monitor your trees. What's dead? What's surviving? What's not?
Right. Did you?
Yes. And we're just building the funds to be able to take down the largest one. But we've already taken down one tree. And it's sad when you have to do it, but sometimes it's more of a safety issue.
It's safety, absolutely.
Yeah, we had one that was literally starting to lean towards our neighbor's house. Yeah, and the North Carolina law is like really tricky, that if you know about it, then you're technically liable, but then technically if you don't know about the quality, and if it's a live tree, technically even if your tree falls on another person's house, you're not liable. It's about the dead tree. So you are liable for the dead ones and knowing on your own property. So that's why I always say to people, just monitor to see what's dead and what's not. This is the perfect time of year. If you're not seeing leaves or needles at this point, that part needs to go.
All the spring cleaning, just add the tree trimming to it.
I know, lovely.
We have those gorgeous tree canopies in the Charlotte area, certainly in the Carolinas, but yeah, little price to pay for the beauty. All right, Chris Mulcahy, once
That was
again.
it.
That's it.
I won't interject myself.
No,
I just was curious.
appreciate the insight. And that's what he does. He provides a little weather IQ raising, and that's we're good for all of it. All right, enjoy your building of funds to trim the biggest part of the trees.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Very much.
Hoping to have the tree torn down by July.
All right, good stuff. A couple more months there. All right, speaking of summer, it is summer vacation season. We know that. We talked earlier to a travel health pharmacist, and this was about preparing for international travel. But now we want to explore what is happening in our own backyard. This is going to be a fun time for the holidays. Well, I mean, yeah, we do have some summer holidays to talk about. And with that, we want to tell you that new data is showing families are increasingly experiencing or want to experience a multi-generational vacation. And so with us, we have travel expert Jeanette Seha, who is currently on board a cruise ship, giving us a firsthand look of some of the insights into this travel trend. Hi there, Jeanette.
Hi, it's so great to be with you.
Yeah, great to have you here. What are you seeing? First of all, it looks like you're in paradise. Tell us where you are and why you get this nice assignment.
Absolutely. I am in paradise. I'm on board the beautiful Disney Wish here at Castaway Cay. It's Disney's private island destination in the Bahamas, and it's a great place to be. As you can see, it's a beautiful day and the water is perfect.
Oh, Jeanette, very, very jealous. Very cool. Now, we just heard about some of the health preparations that need to be made for travel. From your perspective as a travel expert, what are some of the biggest trends you're seeing in how families prepare for the summer?
So, a popular trend in family travel in particular is family-centric travel. So travel that's perfect for everyone in your family, multi-generational, from grandparents to parents to children, toddlers. Even, for example, here on the Disney Wish, there's a nursery on board, there's a kids club. So finding a vacation that caters to everyone and that everyone can enjoy.
And I mean, like I just said, that people want to do this multi-generational, bringing the grandparents along, bring the children along. What do you think is driving that interest now to bring the whole family?
Yeah, so a popular trend is finding something for everyone. There's been a recent report that found 58% of young families plan to invite an extended family member on their next vacation. So, for example, here on the Disney Wish, I have seen grandparents to parents to children, and they have on their shirts, they're decorated, they come prepared. These Disney cruisers are prepared, and they even decorate their staterooms with Mickey, with their names. They're celebrating graduations, anniversaries, birthdays. And the best part is Disney Cruises offers 3 vacations in one. You get the hassle-free of an ocean cruise. You only unpack once. You also get the visit tropical destinations like Castaway Cay, where we are today. And you get the magic of Disney, where you get to travel with your favorite Disney characters. You get Broadway-style shows every night. I saw The Little Mermaid. It was spectacular. You also have entertainment like Pirate Night that was last night. And another fun favorite of mine here was the fireworks, which is something that only Disney Cruise does. And everyone in the family was enjoying and having a good time.
Wow, sounds like a dream. As we are already into June now, what's your advice if people want to still have this kind of option available to them?
Well, the great news is that there's plenty of time to still plan your summer travel. A Disney Cruise has 4 ships that are sailing out of Florida. They also have a Disney Cruise out of Alaska and even Europe. So there's plenty of time to plan your next vacation, and Disney Cruise has many itineraries. And if cruising is not your thing, there's also National Geographic Adventures, expeditions, and there's also Adventures by Disney that you can check out if you're looking for a different kind of vacation for your family.
Yeah, it sounds expensive, to be quite honest with you, but the value beyond the experience then probably is a good idea, because you're dealing with, again, maybe the grandparents, the children, maybe having travel insurance. What do you want to say about that?
Yeah, you get so much value in a Disney cruise. Again, you get 3 vacations in one. You get the Broadway style entertainment. You have a fun feature that's also the rotating dining experience, where you get to dine at 3 different restaurants. You even have a dinner and a show at Arendelle the other night. There was Elsa, there was Olaf. So you get a lot of value, and you also get to visit these one-of-a-kind tropical destinations like Castaway Cay, where we are today. And there are special offers. You can check them all out, and more information on DisneyCruise.com.
Thank you so much, Jeanette Seha, the travel expert, gets a nice little cruise out of this morning. And we're jealous as we are dealing with some rain here in the Carolinas, but appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, we are back here in the Live Impact studio now on WCNC Plus. Let's get you back out to Asheville. This is an accessible area if you're thinking about summer vacations, by the way. Let's go to it and back to the NCDOT meeting that is underway here on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus.
10% of statewide funds over a 5-year period may be assigned to a single project or group of projects along or within a corridor within a single highway division or adjoining highway division. Essentially, what this is intended to do is prevent projects along, say, I-77, I-85, I-95, and so forth from using all the statewide mobility funds. And that's roughly $600 million cap over a 5-year period. There are other restrictions regarding commuter and light rail, public transportation, And for public transportation, no more than 10% of a region's funding shall go for public transportation projects in the regional impact category. There's also a couple of caps on aviation. We can't spend more than $18.5 million a year on division needs aviation projects. There are caps on the amount that we can spend for statewide projects at $500,000 per project per year, and similarly $300,000 per project per year for regional impact aviation projects. So when we program the STIP for projects selected through prioritization, the first thing we have to look at is what is the score coming out of the prioritization process. But that's not the only thing we need to consider. We have to select projects based on score, but we don't necessarily schedule them based on score. So that you could have the highest scoring project in the state, be the best project everyone knows is really important. But if we haven't started preliminary engineering, it's going to take a while before we can actually program it for right-of-way and construction. Your number 3 project in this case may be ready to go, maybe ready, design, ready, maybe completed, right-of-way, maybe completed. We can start construction on that tomorrow or in the next year. And so you can see how the score doesn't necessarily reflect how we schedule projects. Preliminary engineering is a big factor, and the delivery schedule is a big factor of how we schedule projects in STIP. So what you see is a lower scoring project that can be delivered sooner may get scheduled ahead of a higher scoring project. In the STIP, we also cash flow our projects, and we use data from SAS to help us with this. So SAS has built a estimated payout tool for us based on historical data and their modeling. So we take a project that, let's say, is supposed to cost $1.4 million. We don't actually program all $1.4 million in the first year it's supposed to begin. We spread it out over time based on how long that project is expected to take. And we take that data from SAS and program those dollars accordingly in the STIP. I alluded to this earlier, the STI law fiscal constraint tests. Within the law, there are 2 major tests. Essentially, in each of the 22 different funding categories, or buckets as we refer to them as, we cannot over-program or under-program by more than 15% of the funds within the first 5 years of the STIP. Similarly, we need to have a budget be over or under 10% over the entire 10-year program. So oftentimes both of these fiscal constraint tests limit the amount of funding we can put on our project or how it affects schedules. And then we also do the additional test to compare the annual amount program versus the budget, particularly for the first 4 years to be in compliance with the federal regulations. Lastly, one of the other tools that we use when programming the STIP are bonds. We have 2 bond programs we take advantage of. One is on the federal side, which is known as GARVI bonds. And it's basically leveraging future federal revenues against the bond proceeds. And when we take those bonds out, we repay those bonds over a 15-year period with interest. On the state side, the Build NC bond program was created in 2018. Similarly, it leverages future state highway trust fund revenues and allows us to spread the pay. We pay back those projects over a 15-year period with interest as well. I think we want to really stress this, that the bond programs are a financial tool and they are not new funds. That's really important. So if you see a project with bonds on it, it's helping to potentially expedite the project, allow us to build the project sooner at a lower cost, but we pay that back over a 15-year period with interest. Now let me shift gears and talk specifically about the 2026 to 2035 STIP, which is based on P7. This is our new cover. And I will say the proposed final STIP at this point has been emailed to all of you and is now posted on NCDOT's website. So the process for the 26 to 35 STIP actually started in the fall of 2022 with the beginning of the Prioritization 7.0 work group. Projects were then submitted and scored through the prioritization process with the release of the quantitative scores in May of 2024. Over the remainder of 2024, we had an iterative local input point assignment process, and the programming process occurred. for the regional impact and division needs categories. It culminated with the release of the draft 2026-2035 STIP at the beginning of this year. We followed by a public comment period, and now we're at the point where we're presenting the final STIP to you all for consideration for adoption at your next meeting. Let me talk to you about how we specifically developed the draft STIP. One of the first things we did was updated the budget based on the consensus revenue forecast between the department, OSBM, and the Fiscal Research Division at the General Assembly. And that looks at both the Highway Trust Fund and the federal aid funding. We worked with the board in the spring of 2024 to figure out how to best to account for inflation in this STIP. Since what the board approved was using inflation at 5% compounded annually for the first 5 years of the STIP, and then a flat rate of $500 million for the remaining 5 years of the STIP. This money, totaling about $4.9 billion, is taken off the top. It's reserved to account for future inflation. And of course, we would revisit the inflationary rate at the head of each STIP cycle. One of the things we've been really focusing on is ensuring our cost estimates are up to date in the STIP. Our goal is to have no costs over 2 years in age when the STIP is adopted, and we're very close to that. We've adjusted schedules of existing projects based on funding availability, and I'll talk about that here on my next slide. There were new projects selected in prioritization 7.0, but unfortunately this only occurred in 4 of the 22 funding categories due to funding availability. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the draft STIP was released at the beginning of this year. So when we had to adjust project schedules due to funding availability, there are several factors we considered. One was the status of right-of-way and preliminary engineering. If right-of-way was already underway, for example, we didn't want to stop the project if we didn't have to. We may have had to delay it, but we tried to keep those delays out of it. We also looked at where the project was in the preliminary engineering process. Projects that haven't started yet or farther out were more likely to be delayed. We also considered what's known as the seniority ranking. And this goes back to a recommendation that the P6 work group had made and the board approved for the current 24 to 33 STIP, where essentially you rank projects with those from prioritization 3.0, highest to lowest, those that scored highest to lowest in P4, followed by those that scored highest to lowest from prioritization 5.0. And the divisions and the planning organizations had the ability to revise those rankings last summer if they were mutually agreed upon. We also considered the construction sequencing of adjacent nearby projects. A lot of coordination goes into that. We looked at the cost of the projects, including recent increases. We had to consider federal discretionary grants. Those have strict deadlines sometimes, so we had to make sure we met those. Of course, we had to look at how much funding was available in each of those 5 and 10 year timeframes. And lastly, we had to look to make sure that we ensured sufficient time is in the STIP to ensure right-of-way acquisition and utility relocation was completed prior to construction. So in the draft SIP, there are about 2,000 projects. And as I mentioned earlier, from P7, we were able to pick up some projects in 4 categories, 25 in the statewide mobility category, 61 in the regional impact categories, and those for region C and D. And at the time, it was 10 projects in the division needs category in division 6. That number has actually increased to 21 now, all in division 6. But unfortunately, we had to delay many projects due to those cost escalations. And so at the time, we had about 70 projects that were previously scheduled for delivery, meaning they were in the pipeline. The department was moving full steam ahead with those. They changed to funded for preliminary engineering only, and those will have to recompete in prioritization 8.0. And there are about 130 projects that we were working on PE on, but now, because of funding availability, became unfunded. Those projects can be resubmitted in future rounds of prioritization. So that was up through January. Since then, we've continued to receive cost increases to make sure our estimates are as accurate and up to date as possible, again, with the goal of having estimates no older than 2 years in age. And one of the things that's driving this is that all estimates received since.
All right, folks, we're going to break away from that
a new
presentation of
cost
NCDOT
methodology,
meeting. It's
which
going to be
factors
going
in
on all
recent
day
bid
in
prices.
Asheville, but
And
just
so
wanted
this
to
helps make sure
listen in a
costs are more
little bit
realistic.
as they go through some
But
of our
also, unfortunately,
itinerary
means
and line
the estimates are
items.
higher due
Let's
to
talk
current market
about
conditions.
Taste of Charlotte. This weekend, speaking of transportation,
the divisions
traffic is going to be
ensure
affected through
all
Uptown. Not
schedules
only do we have the
enlisted
Taste
are
of
as-
Charlotte happening this weekend, but we have the Savannah Bananas. That is going to cause some extra closure, something to keep in mind if you have any plans this weekend. But if you haven't been to Taste of Charlotte, this is a fun event, and it really transforms the Uptown area into this culinary paradise, if you will. It's going to run from tomorrow. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, along Tryon Street, so right there in the heart of it. Admission is free. It's going to be happening from 11 to 11, and our Vanessa Rufus talked to organizers, the event manager, for more on what you need to know. This previously recorded interview happened here in the Live Impact studio, and that's why you want to tell your friends, have your WCNC Plus app always open on your TV. So in case, there's some content that might pertain to your interest, you're going to be right there and you can listen in. But here is that previously recorded interview now here on WCNC Plus. Enjoy.
And we want to start things off with some fun. So we've got, with Taste of Charlotte, Jessica Robards to preview this fun event coming up in just a few days. So it's a multi-day event, June 6th, 7th, and 8th. So we wanted to give folks an idea of what they can expect. This is happening in Uptown, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We take over the streets, or Tryon Street, for 5 blocks. We start at the heart of Center City, which is Trade and Tryon, and go all the way down to Brooklyn Village and line the streets with Charlotte local area restaurants. That is the local part, is supporting these restaurants in downtown Charlotte, or Uptown, right?
Yes. Uptown, going to be filled with different places for folks to check out. From what we've covered the event in the past, and from what we've seen, usually it's either, I don't want to say food trucks, but there's some sort of like vendor type setup where people can go from tent to tent, if you will, and sample. You actually brought some props for us. This is a token situation. Is that what you have? Yeah. So explain how folks can actually partake in the food.
Yeah. So it's a free, non-ticketed event. So it's free to the community. We line it up with the end of school and kick off summer, and it's a lot of fun for everybody. But it is a restaurant festival. We don't have a lot of food trucks out there, which is part of the confusion. Like, I'm glad I'm kind of clearing this up, unless like a restaurant has like a mobile unit that they're out there. But they come out, and the restaurants do set up in tents, and they get to feature 3 menu items that they want to share to the public, and you buy these tasting coins, and so you can buy as much or as little as you want and go around and taste all these different items that the restaurants produce. And if you like what you taste at Taste of Charlotte, you should be going back to their restaurant for the full menu and the full entree. So that's really the gist of it, and people will go around. Each of the menu items will range anywhere from 1 to 4 coins, so they're small tastings, and you could taste multiple restaurants, multiple flavors. The flavors are, we're trying to represent, the like Italian, we've got Caribbean, we've got Ruth's Chris and STK and the steaks, we've got Latin, pizza, burgers, just every Charlotte flavor that you could think of that I can even fit on Tryon Street. I wish I could fit everybody. We try and make sure everybody's represented so you can have a good taste out there.
Let me get a look at those tokens. Here, pass one over. I want to see. So,
keep that coin cup.
All right, so folks, here they are. So we can see it actually says Taste of Charlotte. And is this a good representation of how many coins you get?
Yep, so in 1 cup, you get 14 coins, and each coin, the more coins you buy on site and on the digital app for digital coins, which I'll go over in a minute, that changes the cost a little bit if you buy more in bulk.
Okay.
But yeah, you just use these coins and you go around and taste all the different items that have a big, here's another one with like Food Lion, Taste of Charlotte. Oh, reaching for you. Food Lion is our big supporter of our event, and we're so thankful that they help put this on, which makes it free to the community. And I'm just kind of pulling up the menu here. We've got a brochure that'll be out at every coin booth, and you can just kind of pick it up and figure out what you like to eat, circle it, go around and make sure you're hitting all those booth items that you want. And if you can't eat everything in one day, you can certainly come back on, Saturday and Sunday to try things as well.
Yeah, it's a 3-day event. You mentioned all of the different types of restaurants that are represented. Is there a certain radius that these restaurants come from? Are they all strictly in Charlotte, or does it kind of branch out Mecklenburg County in general, or does it go beyond?
Yeah, so it's local to Charlotte. We've had restaurants from the greater Charlotte area as well. We like to include Rock Hill, Gastonia, Monroe, Indian Trail, but mostly for what we have room for, the people that have applied and gotten in are, in that center city or in the greater Charlotte areas. But everybody's local. These are not restaurants from, Charleston or Raleigh or anything like that. That's what the local part is.
Yeah, and we wanted to point out for our viewers here who are watching on Live Impact News that our producer Jeb has pulled up the website for Taste of Charlotte, and that particular site where it talks about all of the restaurants. And actually, Jessica, you can look over there, and you can see some of what our viewers are able to see right now, so you have an idea of all of the different places. And I'm familiar with some of these as being right there in Charlotte and beyond, but like you mentioned, right, just for our area.
Yeah. A lot of the flavors, we've got a wing place at Voodoo. I can see you scrolling through the Smoke Pit, which is award-winning barbecue here in North Carolina out of Concord. So yeah, we do reach up in there as well. We've got Mr. Three's Crab Pot. We've got STK for the steak. Enrico's Italian. I know I'm just kind of going through when you scroll and what I'm seeing here. The lobster mac and cheese from Cuzzo's Cuisine. They come back every year. Just really every category that we could try and represent in Charlotte that has a Charlotte restaurant, we're trying to do so everybody gets a flavor that they like.
Yeah, I have a family visiting town actually during this period of time, so I was thinking about bringing them, and I'm just kind of curious, what sort of atmosphere is this like? It sounds like the street is closed because you have folks who are going to be walking around on try-on. Do you have live music, or are there other events or just other things that people need to know about as far as attractions when they show up to the area?
Yeah, I mean, great question. We have packed this festival. Every block has a different theme. There's live entertainment. There's the WCNC main stage where it's music, and we have we're not Love and Life or anything, so we're not bringing like major musical acts, but that's local musicians are there to perform, as well as heavily scheduled with community groups. The community groups that are dance troupes, cheerleaders, drumming performances, yoga classes, martial arts, like every 5 minutes there's pretty much something going on, and so we're real excited about that one. That's at Levine and Tryon, yeah, of course. And then we have 2 other area stages. One is in the Tavern, which is our beer area, craft brewery, which we're featuring Victory Brewing lineup there, where you can taste and have those types of items there. But that stage has dueling pianos, so it's got this like bar feel. People raise their glasses, they sing along, cheers, that type of thing. But then when you do the counterpart in the wine cellar, you take, it's more relaxed. You've got your chill wine tasting and wine drinking there. We have singer-songwriters and jazz and that type of feel, so you can find an atmosphere on a different block. And then we've got the cocktail corner, which is a little bit new. It's got DJ music, a Barbados island feel. It's on the Beckler Plaza to hang out there and just have like a great time, and so this new cocktail corner is actually new, that we get to feature kind of off the beaten path in the Beckler Plaza, but it's just like right there off of Tryon Street, because if you're telling friends and family, this place does get busy. The corridor is busy, the other side on all the sidewalks, but I just love the fact that people are kind of out and about, hanging out with each other. Again, being free to the public, it's just a lot of fun for everybody to get together. I love it.
Yeah. So explain that, free to the public, but you talked about different tiers of coin purchases that you could do. So if you could you walk through maybe some of the pricing then?
Yeah,
For folks
so
to know?
it's $20 for a cup of coins, and then as many cups as you want, keeps going. That's what you get on site when you go to a coin booth. A coin booth is located on every block. So just come on site at any block and get started, grab a menu and see where you're at. The different blocks are like 100s through 500s, so you'll find where you want to go and kind of figure out where you are. But if you want to avoid the lines, you would get on the tasteofcharlotte.com, go to the app, or and just download from the App Store, the Apple App Store and Google Play, Taste of Charlotte Guest. Create your account, and I'd say do it now because there is an activation process where you just check your email and activate, and then buy your coins. And so 35 coins is, I think, $50, and then it goes from there. That'd probably be, and you can get more or less. It's really up to you, however much you want to do. And that's going to cover all your food and beverage items, including not just the restaurants, but all the beer that is there, all the wine, all the cocktails. But if you don't, if you want to just shop and all of our local artisans and that type of thing that people are selling, you can just, each one of those purchases just goes directly to, cash credit for supporting that local artist that's on site as well.
Yeah. So why Taste of Charlotte? Why should folks come and taste Charlotte?
I mean, this is the premier event where you can taste all these different restaurants in one spot, and then just get reminded of like who's been here, who's new, who do you want to try over the summer, for the rest of the year, that type of thing. They're giving you a taste, and then they're also giving out a lot of promo items too. So, restaurants may be giving away like 20% off this, free dessert, free app. Like, you don't know until you get there and try their items and find out what they're giving away, so you can go visit them again for the rest of the summer and the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, we certainly have some great gems of restaurants here in our area, so it's cool, to your point, that folks can come to one spot and taste them all if they want.
That's right. One thing I was going to bring up about the digital part is kind of back to the coins, is downloading the app. I can help you demo it really quick. And I've got a little phone here, and we've got of course you can buy coins, and then you just pay the vendor that way. Yeah. And then you don't have to stand in the coin line. But we've developed a little system where you can share coins with friends digitally. And so I'll give you this phone right here. Oh. Yeah, you got one coin left. Poor thing.
Here we go. Can y'all see it?
I don't know if it shows up. So
it shows up.
All right. There's me. I've got a lot of coins.
Well,
I know,
Miss Moneybags.
Seriously. And then I would like to give you some coins if you don't mind.
Okay.
So go to the share coin little menu item.
Okay. And it says give coins and receive coins.
Yeah, so you're going to receive coins and I'm going to give you coins.
Amazing. Oh, okay, and it's got a QR code.
Yep, so we'll just tap.
Oh man.
We're just going to tap and give some coins. Do we do this on camera?
Or? Oh yeah, we got an overhead shot. Oh, it did it.
I gave you some coins. And so now you have the ability, to receive those coins.
21 coins now.
Now I'm left with 104. Sorry.
That's cool.
Yeah, so you can do that with family and friends. Sometimes people have one coin left or they're leaving and they just want to tap their friends. Sometimes families share this as well, where they've got some kids with phones and they maybe will go off and get their own meals, and you can text mom or dad and say, I'm out of coins, and you can purchase more and put them on there as well as the tapping function.
And of course, as one would expect, on the app I see you can access the map, so you can pull that up so you know where everyone is. Very easy and convenient. Anything you would like to leave our viewers with before we wrap things up, Jessica?
Oh, man, I mean, that's one of our biggest things is we've been developing this app. When we were unable to do Taste of Charlotte in 2020, it was something we really sort of put our heads together to produce and do. But yeah, there's a know before you go tab on Taste of Charlotte. It's got all the parking, coin, app, visitor info, tasteofcharlotte.com, and just a lot of the kids' activities. Maybe I forgot to talk about was the fact that there's a whole section with Levine Avenue that has 15 different rides. You get a wristband to play all day for kids, so bring the family. You can get them occupied while you're tasting some food. And then we've lined like at least one activity per block so you can kind of move down the line and keep your kids entertained throughout the event, as well as the adults being entertained as well. And we've got a lot of tours this year, which is like fantastic. We're so excited about the interactive, we've got Instax Fujifilm. I think they're going to do like those Polaroids are back in style and that type of thing. Go RVing is there and has interactive camper stuff for everybody kind of getting on the road this summer for camping. Again, the stages that are there. And the Truist neighborhood. So, one of those things is like we've got 2 area blocks where Truist has taken over, and they're purple on the map, so you can find them. And it includes the marketplace, which has our local area artisans, so you want to support them. People like David French, who, paints those wonderful Charlotte historical buildings and that type of thing, along with, your soaps and candles and jewelry and all of that. And then we've got the wine cellar in the Truist neighborhood. And then, of course, the, last but not least, is the Food Lion front porch. Like, they've got this
I want to bring you some breaking news right now. This is a live picture in North Charlotte. It's I-485 outer closed in North Charlotte. This is due to a crash. The outer loop closed in Mecklenburg County at mile marker 26 is the location we are getting. You can see all those flashing lights. This is near Benfield Road. The crash is starting, actually reported just about 15-20 minutes ago. They hope to reopen things by 11:45, so we've got another hour or so on that. But as you can see, this is going to be, if not already, a traffic nightmare. Traffic is extremely heavy through the area. Definitely a good place to avoid until further notice, as 485 is closed due to a wreck in North Charlotte, close to mile marker 26. So if you have plans leaving home or the office or trying to pick someone up here in the next few minutes, that is the area to avoid. Also want to let you know that in Rock Hill, this is more developing news that we can confirm from York County officials that Ebenezer Park swimming area is closed. This is until further notice after a routine water test found elevated levels of E. coli in the area of the lake there. So this swimming area will be closed again for an unknown duration as they wait for additional testing. But York County officials say that they do this routinely, and once they get it to a level that passes, that's when they reopen the area. So something to keep in mind for York County as this is closed now in Rock Hill. So we're going to keep tabs on both of these situations. As we bring you back out here in the Live Impact studio just past 10 o'clock this morning on Live Impact News on WCNC Plus. You saw there 485 closed in North Charlotte. Not the greatest weather as we can see. It's raining, it's wet, it's cloudy. Meteorologist Chris Mulcahy back in the Live Impact studio now. And wow, this is really just going to be the day, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and also, I think it was, about 3-4 weeks ago, there was one single thunderstorm that pretty much took up the entirety of the 485 loop, and it was incredible. My wife, on the way back from Harrisburg to North Charlotte, said she saw 8 crashes with people sliding off the roads. Now, the problem is, in that type of scenario, and you can't 100% say, hey, it was rain-induced, but we see terrible incidents that shut down interstates, especially when we have rain rates at this point. And I think it's like these type of scenarios that's been raining most of the morning. At that point, it's a lot of the water on the roads, so hydroplaning is going to be at a max, but people still don't slow down. And then we have so many wavering speeds. I think one of the worst things that we have traffic-wise here in the Charlotte area is I'm from New England, and people drive much faster there than, say, my neighbor Skip, who has lived here all his life.
Right.
So it's really just a big difference. That's no shout out to Skip. Skip has muscle cars and he's awesome. But I'm talking about the different speeds that people drive, so many different parts of the country. I think that leads to a lot more checking the brakes in different situations. Also, don't put on your hazards. I see that all the time whenever you have heavy downpours. It's actually more distracting than anything. It's not doing anyone justice. Just try to slow down, because that incident right there is an example of what can happen. And we've actually had a really active traffic morning because of all that.
Yeah, I know in Florida, putting your hazards on during the rain is actually not allowed.
Oh, it is?
It is against the law.
Okay.
To do that.
It's for a reason. Don't do it.
Yep.
So, not saying it's a pet peeve, but it's a pet peeve.
Same, dude. So very busy scene there. I know last night was the hurricane special.
Yes.
Kudos to the Weather Impact team.
Thank you.
This is just this morning, just a little taste of the wet weather and the clouds and the humidity, and it is so such the summer season that we get into this season. So I want to play your package here.
Okay.
The feature that you did here on the power of a hurricane. Let's play that for you now. It is quite powerful. There's our Chris Mulcahy and what he does best on WCNC Plus.
We're here at the Aerodyne Wind Tunnel, and what are we going to do? We're going to demonstrate the power of a hurricane's winds. We're going to go from tropical storm 1, 2, 3, and then max it out at a low end 4 at 130 miles per hour. All right, it's getting real. All right, let's experience a hurricane. This is the Aerodyne Wind Tunnel, 250 feet long, 2,500 horsepower. The main thing about this simulator, you don't have the rain, you don't have the debris. This is just showing the pure power of the winds. Okay, let's do this. This would be tropical storm strength. You can walk. Picture this as a strong thunderstorm pushing through the area. But once you get to 74 miles per hour, that's Category 1. Let's go Category 1. You can feel the difference. A Category 1 is going to rip off shingles, roof tiles. Let's go Category 2. A Category 2 hurricane is winds at 96 to 110 miles per hour. I can't walk forward on my own. Debris will be thrown into windows. I can barely speak. It's an extremely dangerous situation to be outside. Let's go Major. Ramp it up to Category 3. You can feel the difference. You can feel the difference. Roofs can be blown off. Let's go to the map. This would be Category 4.
Both Category 4 and 5 hurricanes produce catastrophic damage and can leave areas uninhabitable for weeks, even months. The power of wind increases exponentially. Just look what it does to my face as we increase to major hurricane status. Cute, right? Something I truly never want to experience in real life, but thanks to Aerodyne for showing us the force of a hurricane. I'm meteorologist Chris Mulcahy with WCNC Charlotte.
That is the best. It is absolutely the best. Good stuff.
Shout out to Matt Hammond, who was with me and helped put that together. I would always drag him away and around for some of my best weather IQs.
Yeah.
But no, that's one of my all-time
Got an Emmy
favorites.
for it. So, round of applause for that.
Thank you.
And so you said we were just talking offline here, but you said that you recorded that video kind of twice?
Well, I've done it once before. Okay. So I first did this for our 2019 hurricane special. And this time was a little more intense, which, by the way, one of the biggest comments I had, because I threw this on TikTok and I got like a couple million views.
Wow.
People were like, oh, look at this guy. He wouldn't go up to Category 5. I would have, but the wind turbines don't go up that high. So this one only goes up to about 130, because then it starts to become more of a control issue, which really says something. And also, wind exponentially increases its force and its damage, and that's another reason why. But that was barely Category 4, which really puts in perspective. Now, just add raindrops into that. That would hurt. I literally had blood blisters kind of like right here where you have the blood spots because one of the straps was hitting against me.
Wow.
So imagine if that's sand and a bunch of other things. Like later I was like, oh,
debris.
what happened? What is that?
All the things. Yeah.
But,
you haven't had to do this in the middle of a hurricane or, yeah.
No, I think the most I've probably been up to is probably Cat 1. So you're talking about 74 to
still very strong, like you were showing us.
Yeah, but it's incredible just being there, and clearly my go-to line there, because like when you're being pummeled by winds, you're not thinking straight. Is you can feel the difference, but you really could, and that's the crazy thing, that it exponentially got crazier and more out of this world the higher that you went up.
Well, entertainment value alone.
Thank you.
For us to, we're safe here in the comfort of our own seats in the office and at home watching the hurricane special. And you guys did, again, a fantastic job last night. This is now living on the WCNC app, right?
Good, yep. Yep. And I think on our Weather IQ page.
Weather IQ page,
I think
YouTube page,
So
all of it.
Multiple ways if you want to go back and check it out. Yeah, no, I love this. We have the best team in Charlotte, hands down.
Hands down.
And that special was really cool because we were trying to teach you every single like asset that a hurricane season can bring, as long with a little prediction as well, and a little bit of comedy clearly in that aspect.
But comedy and informative, so it's really the best combination. Memorable, that makes us think of that image and what the dangers could really be. Even though, thank you for being you.
I don't know. Larry's done it before.
Yeah?
I've done it twice now, so now my challenge is to all my other coworkers, who's the next person to step in the wind tunnel for maybe next year's hurricane season.
We should get one.
I gladly will do it again, but I don't want to take all the glory.
All the fun. Yeah, exactly. I know earlier on WCNC Plus on Live Impact News, we had that fire out of Philadelphia at a bus graveyard. So what officials say is that is an area that all the unused buses go to. Let's take a look here.
Yeah.
And all of that black smoke just covering fires over the many, many years I have. That is just the most dangerous, most intense, the hottest temperatures you can see. But the wind, Chris, talk about the power of the wind here, how we can see all that smoke blowing in that one direction with these aerial shots.
Yeah, and you're just looking at probably just the low to mid-level winds that are just pushing in general that direction. But scientifically, what you're looking at right now with that black smoke is actually a really interesting chemical process. So literally what makes it black are tiny bits of carbon. So here's what happens. Whenever you have a combustion engine, I'm going to use an engine for an example. Have you ever seen a car where it's emitting a bunch of black smoke? That's because the combustion system is not working and it's an imbalance of oxygen. So when you're lacking oxygen, which is clear, that is going to allow it to kind of take on different other chemical compounds. So once you take oxygen away, since this is burning so hot, that it allows it to be more of that blacker color. So it's literally little bits of carbon that are in the air, and then that is so good at absorbing light that it literally will absorb 96 to 99% of all light that's coming at it. So since it's absorbing so much, it appears dark as night, as you can see there. Notice what's also carbon? Coal. So it's literally coal black that we have in this section. The other ways that you're going to have black smoke is usually the burning of rubber. What's on a old bus? Tires. Also a combustion, as you mentioned, oil. So an oil burn is usually known as a dirty smoke, a dirty burn. That's why it's usually black here too. And then in house fires, what makes it black is usually the carpet, or in certain points, the different foam that are within the house, and furniture can do it as well. But if you look at a bus, there's furniture, there's carpet, there's the oil that's still left over. And imagine if these are all active buses, you might have full gas tanks.
Right.
But likely they took all the gas out for obvious reasons there. And then also the last but not least, the carpet on the bus, and then of course, rubber tires. Which one am I missing? Oh yeah, just leftover oil in general. So it was just a perfect storm storm of everything creating that black smoke, which is extremely toxic and real bad to breathe because those little bits of carbon can get into your lungs.
Yeah.
So luckily it didn't last that long, but you rarely see a fire that black, and it's for
Intense,
multiple
right.
reasons that I just mentioned there.
Yep. All right. Very good. The science behind the bus fire out of Philadelphia. Chris Mulcahy joining us. More information here and raising your weather IQ
Or
and science.
black fire IQ. I don't know. It's science IQ.
It is.
Weather IQ takes
It's
multiple
all
brands.
cousins.
Yeah. So yeah, there it is. Jeb actually came in and joking around, and it was just like, oh, who knew you're a bus fire expert? So yes, I'm a meteorologist
add
and
it.
a bus fire expert. So glad I have this niche correspondent over here.
You do. Calling you for all things. All right, Chris Mulcahy, thanks again for joining us.
Of course, thank you.
Want to get you updated now on the breaking news situation that we are following along I-485. Outer loop is closed in North Charlotte due to a crash. You can see one lane getting through on the far right side, squeezing through. On the other side, just one medic. Flashing lights are there. And this is near mile marker 26 near Benfield Road. We're also hearing that activity near Mallard Creek Road, if you're more familiar with that off-ramp. But as we take a look now at the map here, we can see what these delays look like. How horrible is that? If you are stuck in this, it looks like going westbound or northbound along 485. That jam up is to Mallard Creek Road, and then you're going to find that spectator slowing on the eastbound side as well. So this is going to be here for a while. It started around 9:45. We are hearing that crews hope to get things reopened by 11:45, but that's another hour and a half for us. So as you take a look at this picture, it is a parking lot, even though they are just beginning to let traffic squeeze on that far right-hand side. So we will be 2 lanes. Okay, 2 lanes. That could be like an accelerator lane or one of those exit ramp lanes. But we got 2 lanes to squeeze through on the far right. And then on the other side, you can see how traffic is moving, but you're going to have a little bit of that rubbernecking. The medic now crew leaving with flashing lights. An update for you there on that North Charlotte crash. Want to get you over now to Washington, where there is a meeting that is happening. This is a hearing that is getting underway for AI, the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, holding a hearing. They're calling it, quote, the federal government in the age of artificial intelligence. Let's go ahead and listen in. You're watching Live Impact News on WCNC+.
Madam Chair, thank you. Is it the custom of the committee to shut down debate on such an important motion?
This is not an inquiry. It's not an inquiry. We're suspended.
Massachusetts mentioned that Mr. Musk was potentially under the influence of
This is not debatable right now. I love you. It's not
drugs,
debatable right now. This is not a point of inquiry.
And other
But you look
substances
good in front of the
according to-
photos. You look
according
great
to
right
this.
now. You look good.
So is this the?
You're not recognized right now. There's not a point of inquiry. Thank you. We're suspended until the clerk is ready to call the roll.
Move to call the roll.
We are suspended again for the third time. We're suspended until the clerk can call the roll. Thank you.
I know. How the job interviews are going.
Which job interview?
Are we gonna get posted on how the job interviews are going, please, Chair? Do you really want Elon Musk to come in here and answer your ass, man? You're real close.
Why don't you sit down and take the mic and we'll have a debate on this?
We're having a
Let's
friendly
debate.
discussion. We're suspended. Sometimes we take ourselves too seriously. You know, I have a pretty good sense of humor. Yeah, and I always bring it to the table. Yeah. So, I think we have been engaged in somewhere honored Jerry.
Madam Chair, point of inquiry.
Right. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Is the clerk here?
The clerk is here and preparing to call the roll.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can you explain exactly what preparing requires?
She has to get paperwork, she has to get seated, she has to do all that. Thank you. She sure does, yes.
Or you guys have to find your members who didn't attend the hearing. That's probably more likely.
It's kind of
Madam Chair? Inquiry, please.
Yes, sir. You want more video with Elon behind you? You already got a good clip.
Could we have a unanimous consent motion to structure debate for 10 minutes? Each side gets 5 minutes.
We're in the middle of, we're getting ready
Whether
to
he
do a
was under the
recorded vote. We
influence of
can't do that.
drugs.
We're not able to do that right now. Let's do the recorded vote, then we can talk about it after. Thank you.
Why? Go ahead.
parliamentary inquiry.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have an assistant clerk that can move maybe a little bit faster? We have a room full of people.
This is not an inquiry, thank you.
It was a question. Do we have an assistant clerk?
It's not a parliamentarian inquiry, so no, we're not having this debate.
But it is a point of order.
It's not.
We'll check with parliamentarian.
A motion to table is not debatable, thank you.
We're not debating that.
It's not,
We're
we weren't
about the
asking for a
clerk.
point of order. Would the parliamentarian rule on a point of order?
Parliamentarian
The
here.
gentleman must state his point of order.
It was the gentlelady's point of order that was overruled because it was determined that it was not a point of order when in fact it is. I think that she should be allowed to.
She stated it was an inquiry, not a point of order, my recollection. But if she would like to restate it, that's fine.
Madam Chair, point of order.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we not have an assistant clerk who can make sure that we can continue to do the business in an efficient way in oversight? Because it has historically never taken this long for the clerk.
We're going
call
through the
roll.
process right now, and we'll have a recorded vote as soon as we're able to.
Just to restate the point, the gentlelady's point, Democrats are here. We think this is an important issue. We are ready to vote. And
The gentleman must state a point of order.
we welcome the opportunity to debate this. This is a serious issue.
Is there a point of order,
Just, uh,
Mr. Lynch?
The gentleman
making
has
a
the
point.
floor. Let him finish.
I'm the chairwoman. Thank you. Women are allowed to speak on this committee, and I ask for a point of order.
Point of inquiry. Can we just, Madam Chair, point of inquiry?
As a woman?
I know, I should hopefully, I get to speak.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, you are. Yes, you are, babe.
Is it possible for us to just do a roll call without the clerk to determine what members are here so that we can determine
No,
if y'all
ma'am.
really have the votes?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
For those of you watching at home, the Republicans are not in the room, so they're trying to find their members so that they can.
You are not recognized, Ms. Stansberry. You can be quiet now.
Neither are any of your members because they're not in the room. Thank you.
Madam Chair, on a point of order, Democrats have a clerk that is available to record our
Okay,
vote.
Mr. Lynch, the chair will not entertain points of order regarding the propriety or expediency of a proposed course of action. This is my final ruling on such points of order. Thank you.
Madam Chair, a point of inquiry then.
Yes, sir.
Would it not be permissible to have the Democratic clerk record the vote and to begin it now?
No, sir, it's not. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Madam Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Is the only reason we can't take a vote is because y'all were about to lose it?
Is there a point of inquiry here? Because I didn't hear one.
That was my inquiry. Is the reason
That's
we
not
can't
a
take
valid
vote-
inquiry. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
I have a point of inquiry, Madam Chair. I was just wondering,
sir.
Being new to this committee, what's the basis or rule on which you are overturning, not allowing the Democratic clerk to start the vote?
We have our own clerk. That's why.
Is that based on a rule, or?
It's based on the fact that you guys lost the election because of your crazy policies. And you guys don't control the chamber.
But is that in the rules? Madam Chair, just wanted to follow up. I would appreciate an answer to the question. Is there something in the rules that prevents, we have witnesses who've flown in from around the country.
This is committee practice. Thank you for your inquiry. And we'll start the vote momentarily. Thank you.
That drama in the courtroom right now, and bringing you an update here in the investigation into the mass shooting that happened in Hickory.
Madam
It
Chair,
seems
just
that
a
Catawba
point of
County has released another notice. They are looking for this person that you see on your screen, Isaiah Kane Mitchell. He is a person of interest. Catawba County Sheriff's Office saying that he is a Morganton resident in connection with the mass shooting on Walnut Acres Drive over the weekend. He is a person of interest, but he is wanted for robbery with a dangerous weapon from a separate incident in Burke County. They're saying that he is armed and dangerous. So they do request any assistance in locating Mitchell. Anyone with information is asked to call the Catawba County Sheriff's Office. This is in addition to the update we want to bring you. If you weren't with us last night on WCNC Charlotte, the Catawba County Sheriff's Office also arresting 2 more suspects that left 1 person dead and 11 others. Deputies telling us Raekwon Craig and Patrick Tolbert are now in custody, charged with aiding and abetting. Also, Keandre Mack and Tolan Huff are still wanted this morning. And Garen Killian, he was the first person arrested. He made his first court appearance yesterday morning. So we are still following a lot of developing news. But again, another person of interest is named by the Catawba County Sheriff's Office, and they would like to find Isaiah Kane Mitchell. Let's get you back out to this AI government hearing now out of D.C. As well, the conversation is very interesting, the back and forth. Let's take you out there here on WCNC Plus. And it looks like they are still in quiet session. A vote of some kind is coming up, according to Chairperson Ms. Mace. This is another story that we are following for you, though. A live picture at 485, making some progress here. It looks like all the main lines are open with whatever is left of a crash. 485 near mile marker 26, that's Benfield Road. But it was there for a time and definitely enough to jam things up pretty solid, as you can see here on the map. Coming up from Mallard Creek Road, solid red. So barely hitting the brakes, or barely hitting the gas pedal, I should say, all the way out to Benfield Road. Miles and miles of inching along bumper to bumper traffic. Eastbound side, just a little bit better as lanes are certainly open. Just some leftover looky-loo rubbernecking traffic along 485. But again, this is near mile marker 26 around Benfield Road, and a lot of activity, expecting to hit the brakes coming up from Mallard Creek Road. All right, back in session, dialogue continuing out of D.C. at an AI Oversight Committee meeting. Here we take you back out to Live Impact News.
Whether or not it is okay to put it into the record that at the time that this motion was called, only Mr. Gosar, Mr. Grothman, Mr. Higgins, Mr. Fallon, and Mr. Crane, along with yourself, were the only Republicans that were actually in the room.
This is not a real point of inquiry. You're not recognized on it either. Thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a legitimate point of inquiry. Madam Chair? Madam Chair, I have
Is it for real this time?
Oh, no, it's very legitimate, very for real. How much taxpayer money are Republicans wasting while delaying this vote to subpoena?
That's not a legitimate point of inquiry.
It's very legitimate to the American people.
Thank you. It's not.
Very
You're not
legitimate to the
recognized.
American people.
It's not, and you're not recognized on it. Thank you.
Madam Chair, parliamentary inquiry. How much taxpayer money
sir.
was wasted when some of the Democrats didn't show up to work for
Also not
almost
a,
2
not a
years
point of
during
inquiry.
COVID?
I love you, Mr.
Particularly
Fallon.
one from Boston.
Also not a point of inquiry. Thank you.
Who are you talking about? I'm sorry, are you engaging in personalities right now? Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about?
I didn't say anybody's name.
Who are you talking about?
This is not time for debate right now. Thank you.
Well, please, yes.
I'm being respectful of everybody on both sides there.
Be
Let's
respectful
be
and honor the
respectful of
rules
one another, please.
uniformly.
I'm from
This is
Pittsfield
not-
and I was
This
here.
is not debatable. We're not having a debate on this. We're getting ready to take a recorded vote. Everyone can sit down and turn their microphones off unless you have a point of inquiry, an appropriate point of inquiry. Thank you.
To be on the House floor eulogizing a black woman dying in Georgia because of your policies.
Hey folks, Jeb here really quickly. Some of you may have noticed this meeting has been very tense. Right now, based on what we're able to discern, it appears the Republican representatives who are supposed to be speaking at this meeting have not come out. We have heard rumblings that Elon Musk himself may be among the group with the Republicans expected to come out and discuss artificial intelligence and its use in the government. So far, we have no official word on if he will or will not be a part of this meeting. But as far as we are able to understand right now, it appears the Republicans are about 10 to 15 minutes late. As you can see, tempers very much heating up. We'll take this meeting back live as they try to figure out what's going on.
Madam Chair, point of inquiry.
Yes, ma'am.
You said that we were about to take the vote in, the clerk.
Yes, we're about to take the vote.
Never mind, because I was
Thank
about
you.
to say, your members finally showed up. I mean, let's go.
Thank you, ma'am.
How's it going?
It's been interesting. Lots of delay tactics.
All right, a recorded vote is ordered, and the clerk will call the roll.
Good stuff, yeah.
We only get to talk.
Yeah, good stuff.
Mr. Jordan. Mr. Jordan votes yes. Mr. Turner. Mr. Gosar. Ms. Fox.
Yes.
Ms. Fox votes yes. Mr. Grothman. Mr. Grothman votes yes. Mr. Cloud. Mr. Cloud votes yes. Mr. Palmer. Mr. Palmer votes yes. Mr. Higgins. Mr. Higgins votes yes. Mr. Sessions. Mr. Sessions votes aye. Mr. Biggs. Mr. Fallon. Mr. Fallon votes aye. Mr. Donalds. Mr. Donalds votes yes. Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry votes aye. Mr. Timmons. Mr. Timmons votes yes. Mr. Burchett. Mr. Burchett votes yes. Ms. Green. Ms. Green votes yes. Ms. Boebert. Ms. Luna. Ms. Luna votes aye. Mr. Langworthy. Mr. Burleson. Mr. Burleson votes yes. Mr. Crane. Mr. Crane votes yes. Mr. Jack. Mr. McGuire. Mr. McGuire votes yes. Mr. Gill. Mr. Gill votes yes. Mr. Lynch.
No.
Mr. Lynch votes no. Ms. Norton.
No.
Ms. Norton votes no. Mr. Krishnamurthy.
No.
Mr. Krishnamurthy votes no. Mr. Khanna.
No.
Mr. Khanna votes no. Mr. Mfume.
No.
Mr. Mfume votes no. Ms. Brown. Ms. Brown votes no. Ms. Stansbury. Ms. Stansbury votes no. Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia votes no. Mr. Frost. Mr. Frost votes no. Ms. Lee. Ms. Lee votes no. Mr. Kassar.
No.
Mr. Kassar votes no.
All right, everyone. Just trying to get you caught up here out of D.C. with the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee holding a hearing. It's titled "The Federal Government in the Age of Artificial Intelligence." So, again, as you see, they're beginning after a delay. There was some reference to tactics being used with the clerk arriving late. So as they conduct this vote, the vote specifically is not has not been introduced on what they're voting for, but they are supposed to be discussing, exploring that artificial intelligence, the importance of the federal government, deploying technology, driving efficiency, reducing fraud. So as we were here earlier, we could hear some of the inquiries to the Madam Chairperson Mace, asking questions to which she would quickly shut down. But right now, as they discuss this meeting, we do know that the Dems, they've been criticizing the unauthorized, what they're calling unauthorized data access, including DOJ having access to sensitive data from federal agencies. Also, the potential data misuse that is on the table to discuss some of these streams that increase the misuse, the risk of misuse rather, as it can be exploited for analytics or targeted actions. And then, of course, the legal challenges with hundreds of federal workers having filed, 100, I should say, over 100 federal workers having filed a lawsuit alleging the DOJ's access to their personal data, violating their the Privacy Act. And so, are they still voting, Jeb? I know Madam Chair is talking. Let's go ahead and listen in.
Massachusetts will be waived on to today's hearing for the purpose of asking questions, and without objection, so ordered. I'm pleased to introduce our witnesses for today's hearing. Our first witness today is Mr. Ili Barakhtari, the president of the Special Competitive Studies Project. Our second witness is Mr. Bhavin Shah, founder and chief executive of the AI company MoveWorks. Our third witness is Ms. Linda Miller, former deputy executive director of the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee and founder of TriClat. Our fourth witness is Mr. Adam Thierer, senior research fellow at R Street Institute. And our fifth witness today is Mr. Bruce Schneier from the Harvard Kennedy School. We welcome everyone, and we're pleased to have you here this morning. So pursuant to Committee Rule 9G, the witnesses will please stand and raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Let the record show the witnesses all answered in the affirmative. We appreciate all of you being here today and look forward to your testimony. Let me remind the witnesses that we have read your written statements and they will appear in full in the hearing record. Please limit your oral statements to 5 minutes. As a reminder, please press the button on the microphone in front of you so that it's turned on and the members up here can hear you. When you begin to speak, the light in front of you will turn green. After 4 minutes, the light will turn yellow. When the red light comes on, your 5 minutes has expired, and we would ask that you please wrap it up. So I now recognize Mr. Barakhtari to please begin your opening statement.
Chairwoman Mace, Ranking Member Lynch, and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify here today. I'm here to make one clear point. While developing advanced AI is a significant moment, the true measure of a nation's future advantage won't be who has the best models, but who has built the essential digital infrastructure and fosters the deepest adoption of AI across all of the society. To understand the stakes, imagine if at the beginning of the last century, our nation had failed to embrace electricity and yielded that transformative advantage to our competitors. The consequences would have been devastating. Today, we face a similar moment. The strategic competition in AI with People's Republic of China is intensifying. Since 2017, Beijing has launched an ambitious campaign to achieve technological supremacy as the key to its global dominance. China is executing this strategy by dedicating vast resources to integrate AI across its entire economy, society, and military. For example, they recently announced $47.5 billion semiconductor fund, which is designed to eliminate reliance on Western technology. They are on track to surpass the U.S. in raw R&D spending, having already tripled their investments since Xi Jinping came to power in 2012 to $500 billion in 2024. This is all built on dominant infrastructure, including more than 60% of the world's 5G base stations. This entire effort is backed by state-sponsored cyber espionage and intellectual property theft designed to acquire and weaponize advanced technology. While the United States still leads AI in research, our primary disadvantage is the slow adoption of these breakthroughs. We are hampered by bureaucratic inertia, outdated IT infrastructure, and a lack of AI literacy in the workforce. Overcoming these barriers is the key to winning the global tech competition. To secure our leadership, the United States must take decisive action in the following areas. First, we need to establish a high-level technology competitiveness council at the White House, modeled on the approach we took for the space race to coordinate a unified national strategy and drive rapid AI adoption across the government. Second, we need to significantly increase our investment in AI infrastructure by doubling non-defense AI R&D spending to $32 billion over time and codifying the national AI research and resource. Third, we need to launch a comprehensive national talent strategy to make the U.S. the magnet for AI experts. This means eliminating green card caps for the top STEM talent and promoting AI literacy throughout our educational system. Fourth, we must overhaul the federal procurement process to rapidly integrate cutting-edge AI from our most innovative companies. Lastly, we must strengthen our global alliances in AI, 5G, and cybersecurity to ensure the resilience and security for us and our allies. The bottom line is this. This is not just a competition of invention, but of adoption. It's about who can set the rules for the future. We have faced moments like this before. From the space race to the digital revolution, our nation's greatest strength has always been our ability to unite our vision with decisive action. By embracing this challenge together, across government, industry, and academia, we will not only secure our leadership, but build a more prosperous and secure future for all Americans. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Mr. Shah for his opening statement.
Chairwoman Mace, Ranking Member Lynch, and distinguished members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify on government use and procurement of AI. I am Bhavin Shah, CEO and founder of MoveWorks. MoveWorks is an enterprise AI company that has spent 9 years successfully helping some of the world's largest organizations to use AI to transform their operations. Today, we face a moment of national importance. The question before us is not whether the federal government should adopt AI, it's whether we will lead or follow. Before we talk about the procurement hurdles that we have faced, let me explain to you what MoveWorks does. MoveWorks transforms how organizations support their employees. We do this through an enterprise AI assistant, and employees interact conversationally with the assistant in a chat-based interface. They can get IT support, ask HR questions, and find company information. But the assistant is not just for looking up information. It can also be used to take action, such as scheduling time off or obtaining software licenses. Behind the scenes, our platform integrates with all of an organization's technology systems. Because the AI assistant is a single unified tool, employees no longer have to log in and out of multiple systems to get work done. Organizations can extend the system to simplify and accelerate their most complex business processes, all done safely and securely while respecting permissions. We do this work by combining top-tier language models like OpenAI's GPT-4, Meta's Llama 3, as well as other models from Google's DeepMind, Microsoft, NVIDIA, just to name a few. We put these together with our own enterprise-specific models, all governed by enterprise-grade guardrails, including fact-checking, citations, and security filters. The result is AI that understands work context. It handles complex business processes safely and effectively, and follows industry-leading data protection and privacy approaches. Today, MoveWorks serves 5 million employees across 350 organizations, including major companies like Broadcom, Marriott, and CVS Health. We're also used by a number of local governments, such as Scottsdale, Ventura, and Durham County. In addition, government contractors like Leidos and Northrop Grumman use MoveWorks to make their businesses more efficient. We've seen firsthand how AI drives measurable results. Honeywell reduced IT help desk requests by 80%. Broadcom scaled from 10,000 to 50,000 employees without increasing service staff. And the city of Glendale achieved a 514% return on its AI investment. Our experience positions us uniquely to understand the federal government's complex requirements. The federal government has an unprecedented opportunity. You can leverage AI for efficiency. You can achieve cost savings. You can improve employee experience. And most importantly, you can therefore improve citizen services. We've engaged with agencies across the government and consistently see enthusiasm for AI adoption. But that enthusiasm has not translated into government procuring AI products like MoveWorks. We've encountered 3 primary barriers. The first is the FedRAMP process. MoveWorks invested 3.5 years and over $8.5 million to achieve FedRAMP-ready status. This is a prohibitive barrier for smaller AI innovators, the companies that often develop the most cutting-edge solutions. Second, complex reseller networks. These force innovative companies to work through intermediaries rather than directly with agencies, adding costs without adding value. Third, multi-year contracting vehicles. These favor large incumbents over agile AI companies. These create delays measured in years. Meanwhile, AI technology advances every month. American AI leadership requires action, not just intention. The private sector has demonstrated that AI adoption can both be rapid and secure when procurement processes match the pace of innovation. I recommend Congress consider immediate steps to improve government use and procurement of AI. Embed AI education and adoption goal in agency leadership performance plans. Create government developer programs for startups to learn federal systems. Scale AI proof of concept programs for rapid pilots to all agencies, similar to the Investment Horizons pilot program developed by the Office of the CIO within the Navy. And finally, establish agency innovator programs that allow smaller agencies to serve as test beds for AI implementations. Longer term, we must modernize acquisition policies. We must accelerate procurement timelines. The federal government employs the most important workforce in the world, the workforce that operates our democracy and defends our nation. These public servants deserve the same AI-powered tools that are transforming the private sector's productivity and effectiveness. We have a choice. We can modernize our procurement process to embrace AI innovation, or we can watch other nations take the lead in government AI adoption, while our agencies struggle with outdated processes and missed opportunities. I urge this committee to champion procurement reform. We need to maintain our competitive edge while serving citizens more effectively. Thank you, and I welcome your questions and discussions on these critical topics.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Ms. Miller for her opening statement.
Thank you, Chairwoman, Ranking Member, and members of the committee. My name is Linda Miller. I bring a unique perspective today because I spent 10 years at
Just a moment to break away from from that House committee to some breaking news right now. An update on the suspect wanted was held in Cook County, Illinois, for the explosion at a house in Dilworth that happened in early May. According to Cook County authorities, he is no longer in their custody, and so we are awaiting for confirmation if and when he will be back at MCSO, Mecklenburg County, to face charges that he was responsible for this major house explosion in Dilworth. Again, the suspect now no longer in custody in Illinois, Michael Barnett, perhaps in transit on his way back to Mecklenburg County, but right now he is no longer in the custody of Cook County officials. Just bringing you that update right now. Take you back out to Washington, D.C. with the House Oversight and Government Reform Committee meeting on AI on WCNC+.
We were going to have to buy the data to tell them who they were paying. The same issue exists at the state level. GAO reported on a grant program that administered by one state in which a company applied for the same grant 13 times in neighboring counties and got it because the states didn't share that data. The size and complexity of the administrative state and the volume of regulations agencies must comply with make agility and innovation next to impossible. My fellow panelists have made some very smart suggestions about turbocharging the rip and replace efforts of legacy IT systems and removing procurement barriers. But we have to be realistic about how capable government is to enact these rapid changes, no matter how badly they're needed. I could spend my time this morning telling you about how we urgently need to adopt AI across government to remain relevant, achieve cost savings, and improve service delivery, as well as prevent fraud, waste, and abuse. But I think you already know that. So I'd like to talk about what proactively can be done to move the needle. GAO has reported that there's almost 25 existing AI requirements in federal law and guidance today. GSA has established an AI Center of Excellence, which was required by law. Agencies have inventoried AI use cases. They've put in place responsible AI officials, but the government continues to show anemic AI adoption overall. My fear is we've created yet another bureaucratic morass, hamstringing agencies with compliance work, and only added the layers of sludge, further slowing down AI adoption. There has been progress. Recent EOs have sought to improve data sharing, which will improve how agencies make use of data to use AI. And GSA's FedRAMP overhaul is a step in the right direction. I completely agree with Mr. Shah. He spent $8.5 million trying to get FedRAMP certified, and successfully getting FedRAMP certified. My small technology company is going to have to put out millions of dollars to do the same. But AI adoption is the perfect candidate for what's called a regulatory sandbox, which Congress can mandate to speed AI projects to implementation in controlled settings, suspending these layers of bureaucracy. Creative procurement solutions must be explored and carefully monitored, allowing lessons to be learned and shared across agencies. And outdated privacy laws that were designed for a world that was that existed long before the internet, much less artificial intelligence, has to be revised. I cannot state this more clearly. The bad guys have all our data. We cannot protect Americans' privacy in 2025. Today, privacy protection is going to have to involve advanced technology like anonymization of sensitive data and the use of other types of identifiers like behaviors and geolocation. I'd be remiss not to mention the risks, which are real. Lazy, careless use of AI doesn't just imperil the goals of the AI project, it undermines the trust in the technology itself. Hallucinations are real. Subject matter expertise is vital. Responsible AI is not just a buzzword. Humans in the loop means humans who are trained, knowledgeable, and paying close attention. This is not a set it and forget it tool. Now is the time to be bold. We can't change how government operates. Wholesale changes to legacy IT systems and the federal acquisition system will take years. But we can create innovative laboratories where AI projects can operate in proof-of-concept regulatory sandboxes in carefully controlled environments to start to show the art of the possible. I welcome your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll now recognize Mr. Thierer for his opening statement.
Chairwoman Mace, Ranking Member Lynch, and members of the committee, thank you for your invitation to participate in this important hearing. My name is Adam Thierer. I am a senior fellow at the R Street Institute, where I cover emerging technology policy. My message here today focuses on 3 key points. First, there are meaningful benefits to governmental use of artificial intelligence technologies. Second, Congress and the Trump administration need to take steps to unlock those benefits by accelerating the modernization of government systems and policies. Third, we must appreciate the connection between broader AI regulation and the benefits the government itself can accrue from these systems. While the federal government is already integrating AI into systems and processes, progress has been slow, and there needs to be more urgency to tap the many benefits that AI can offer. The bipartisan House Task Force on Artificial Intelligence report from last December noted that, quote, each year the federal government spends over $100 billion on information technology and cybersecurity.
Out here in the Live Impact studio, I'm Jane Monreal. We are coming up on 11 o'clock right now. I want to bring you some breaking news, an update to an Ashanti alert that was issued earlier this week. A woman was found safely, but a suspect was on the loose for a while. He is now in Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office. He is in the jail, we understand. Confirmed now he is in the Mecklenburg County Jail. The suspect named as Matthew Callaway, I understand. And he was a suspect wanted on charges of kidnapping, stalking, and assault by strangulation. We'll have more here on this update now, coming up on WCNC Charlotte at 11:30. In the meantime, I'm going to bring you back out to D.C. We're going to end it right here. My time is pretty much up, and Charlotte Today will be coming up next. We wish you a good day on this Thursday, and hope to see you again on WCNC Charlotte.
Freedom of Information Act requests. AI can also help streamline specific regulations and make them more cost-effective to ensure greater value to taxpayers. AI is already helping governments better administer various public services, including infrastructure management, public safety efforts, healthcare delivery, environmental monitoring, emergency responses, workforce development, and various other citizen services. As Congress and the executive branch look to continue to clear a path to efficient government AI uptake, the focus should continue to be on addressing barriers to implementation through 5 main priorities. First, modernize federal acquisition policies to boost AI adoption, especially by encouraging easier acquisition of sophisticated but cost-effective commercial systems. Second, streamline paperwork and use requirements associated with federal AI contracts and deployments, especially for small businesses and open source providers. Third, ensure government data sets are AI-ready and interoperable such that the public, researchers, and other organizations can more easily benefit from them. Fourth, enhance in-house government AI talent and improve technical literacy at all levels. And fifth, boost trust and security in government technology systems. Congress has already passed several laws to facilitate some of these goals. And bipartisan efforts by both the Biden and Trump administrations have helped expand those efforts, including through chief AI officers in federal agencies. The OMB recently released very important guidance requiring agencies to, quote, adopt a forward-leaning and pro-innovation approach that takes advantage of this technology to help shape the future of government operations and, quote, harness solutions that bring the very best value to taxpayers. This committee and others should assist these efforts by helping the administration ensure that agencies are AI-ready for the future. That means closer oversight of agency modernization and digitization efforts, plus the necessary funding to get the job done. Finally, Congress should recognize there is an important connection between broader AI policy and the benefits governments can gain from AI systems.